So now today we'll see how to use auto lists that are present in Excel and also how to create a custom list. Okay, just click OK. So now auto lists are those which are already present in Excel. You can just utilize them in just like any other list. See, I'll show you for months. I just type a month name here. I'll zoom it for you. So now, see, once I type this month name, I'll keep the cursor at the corner of the cell. It will change the cursor to a cross mark like this. This is known as autofill handle, and the cross mark is autofill handler. You just drag it, holding your mouse button, you drag it. You will see all the month names will populate automatically. And you can also observe once it hits the end of the list, that is, December is the last month of any year. So after December, it will again start printing from January. And the same, see, you can also provide the month name in caps like this. And I have provided half name of the month. See, I'll drag it now. You can see all the month names will populate in the same manner. So this works for lowercase, uppercase, half name of the month, full name of the month. In all these cases, you can use the auto list. And you can also say it for week as well. So let me show you. I type Sunday, and if I drag it, it will populate all the week names to me. See, again Sunday is printed, and later it will again start from Monday. It works in a cyclic order. It start from the point where you gave exactly at which data item that you typed from that list, and when you drag it, it will give all those list items that are below this item, and it will again continue to print from the beginning of the list. So this keeps on working in the same manner. So it works for quarters as well. So you can give QTR1, quarter 1, Q1. For all these things, this will work in the same manner. So what is this product list? See, there's nothing amazing about it. Any text followed by a number. So I'll show you. Sample 1001. I type a text, and after that I provide a number here, and I drag it. You can see it will give me a series of list. So this is because you can see here this works for any text followed by a number, not only this one. So you can use this auto list to populate some list just to mark your data. You don't want to show the original names of the products, or you just want to create a dummy list of items. You can use this auto list for that sake. I can also say product 001, and I just drag it and it will populate. So not necessary that you have to always start from 1. It could be some other number also. Let's say 110. And if I drag it, it will give me the item names like this. So this is used to prepare some dummy list. So these are all auto lists. They are already available in Excel. So what about numbers? See, many times you would like to populate serial numbers. Let's say you want to give 1, 2, and 3 automatically. For this, you have to type for pure numbers to be given. You want to populate numbers using auto list, let's say. Then you will give two numbers like this. You will select both the numbers together. Then you keep your cursor at the corner of the cell selection and then drag it. So you can see here, it will populate all those numbers in the serial order. See, this I displayed to populate serial numbers. Now let's say you want to give some random order. Whatever two numbers that you have used here, the same difference is maintained throughout. See, I have given 13, next I have given 20. Let me drag it. All the numbers that you see later will have a difference of 7 numbers between them. See, 20 and 27, 27 and 34. The difference between these two will be 7 only. So that's the reason the first two numbers that you choose is going to matter how exactly your series will look like. So this is about auto list. And you don't have to prepare a separate list for these things. You can utilize it directly. Now, suppose I want to create my own list which works in a similar manner. Let me go to custom list now. I'll take this. We have a list of alphabets over here and also some list of countries. I want the list of alphabets and also the countries that we have mentioned here to work in the same way. Okay, just like we did for auto list, I want the list of alphabets and countries also to work in the same way, or any list that you also have it, like you have list of employees and you have list of regions where you sell your product. Say for these things also you can use this. See, you can go here, you select the file tab in the left hand side far corner, and you go to options. You will get this window. See, there is a shortcut to get this window. I'll show you that. This is one way, going to file tab, choosing options, then you get this window. The next one is Alt T O. This is a shortcut to get the window directly. Let me show you. You have to press Alt key, then press T, then press O. So you should not be pressing them together. It is one after the other. Okay, that's the reason I gave comma here. Alt T O. This will take you to that window. Now, once you get this Excel options window, you have to go to advanced. So this section, and scroll down until you see general section. See, this section is display options for this workbook. I'll scroll down until I see general section. So now we are here, this general section. And in general, I have to choose edit custom list. Choose this. You can see there are some lists already present here. These are all auto lists. See, auto list will appear on the other window that we have here, and it indicates you cannot edit or delete them. These are system specific. They are already there. And you can see I already have the list of alphabets created. See, you can either edit this or even delete it. Now let me delete and show you again. I'll delete it. I'll delete this one as well. So next, after deleting it, see, to create a new list, to create a new custom list, you have to choose new list. Either you type the values like this is one way of creating it, or if you have the list ready in Excel, you can click on import. See, this one, this option is there. You can import the list from the Excel. So even before you import, you have to keep the cursor inside this box. Select the range of cells where your data is present. Once you are done with it, click on import. You can see the list is imported. No need to press add again. So once you have imported, it will be there. Now just say OK. Another OK. Now you can use these alphabets in just like your auto list. Let me show you that. I'll type a single alphabet. I gave L. You see, I drag it in this direction and it works. You can use this list to drag in any direction, guys. So if you drag it towards your left hand side and upwards, it will display the list in reverse order like this. If I drag it towards my left hand side, you can see it is displaying the list in reverse order. If I drag it either below or right hand side, the list will give me in the same order that it is. Okay, you can also give these values either in the uppercase or lowercase. It's not going to be affected. It works the way you gave it. Okay, so next, let me show you how to create the country list as well. So I'll show you here. There's one thing you have to anticipate. There is some new thing you'll be learning here. Alt T O. I'll go to advanced and we'll scroll down till we see general section. Choose edit custom list. Select this particular text box. Go here. Choose the country list. I selected all the countries at once and click import. Once I import, I can see all the list items over here. See, the last item in this list is New Zealand. Just observe that. I just scroll down and check this. The last item in this list is New Zealand. Now say OK. Another OK. But you scroll down the country list that we have in Excel sheet. You go to the end of the list. The last item in this list is Zimbabwe. But we are seeing only till New Zealand. So New Zealand is somewhere far away from this. You can check. Yes. Yeah, it's only till here. So though I selected the entire country list, you can see here it is only selecting up to 172 items. That is the limitation of this custom list. At once, in a list, you can give only 172 items. That is this custom list capacity. But you can create another list and in that you can choose the other countries if you want. Okay, but this particular list, so the custom list has a capacity to contain only 172 items in a list. Okay, so you can create a list based keeping in mind all these limitations that it has got, and still 172 is not a less number, guys. You can use it for most of the list that you have, and you can, the best part is you can use this list in the same way as auto list in any file that you have. Okay, so it could be in an older file or the next new file that I'm going to create. These lists will be available to me. Now if I type Albania and if I drag it, you can see the list of countries will populate for me. And I don't have to remember the first item in this list also. Any item is fine. It should be present in the list that you have prepared. You just have to type it and drag it from the end of the cell like this. Okay. Any doubts in this custom list part, auto list and custom list?
Is there any limit, or we can create any n number of things in custom list?
There is a limitation in the RAM size as well. It doesn't allow you to create too many lists as well. Okay, it all depends on your system capacity also.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, any other doubts?
Mm.
Okay, so let me go for the next chapter. I'll open this paste special. Let me share that screen to you. Are you able to see this now? Paste special.
Yes.
Okay. So now paste special is a very really resourceful option that they have provided in Excel. You can copy the data that you have and paste it in so many different varieties, and sometimes you also have options to perform math operations using paste special that we have in Excel. So there are so many things to learn in Pay Special. I'll quickly run through all the options for you. So now currently the data that you're seeing here has got some borders to it, some numbers with the format like thousand separator, two decimal places. So even in this particular column, you can see that we have reduced the number to two decimal place. Okay, and we also have the borders, cell color, font, everything is neatly formatted over here. So this particular data has got all in whole and soul. With data I also have formats given here, cell formats and also the number formats. Now let me copy and paste this. Mute yourselves, guys, please mute yourselves. You have to first select your data, copy this. See, the data that you copy is known as the source data, and the place where you want to paste it is known as, are you all able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
See, the place where you want to paste the data is known as destination. So how do we paste? We just say Control V and everything else will be pasted, isn't it? So I'll show you another option. Control V will paste everything that I have copied. But I don't want that. I'll use paste special. Control Alt V is the shortcut. You select the area where you want to paste it, Control Alt V. You will get to see this window. See here you have all formulas, values, formats. So you get to see so many options here. All is very similar to your Control V. When you press Control V, that's what you see there. Everything gets pasted. Now I want only values to be pasted for me. I'll choose this and click OK. See, when I say values, all the formats that are applied on this data, including the number formats like thousand separator, two decimal places, everything will vanish. Only the value part of it is being displayed here. Now let me enable this formula bar for you. So you can also see some formula is present in this last column of our source data. Now I want to retain this formula, but I don't want the formatting that is applied on it. So when I say formatting, there are two types, guys. One is the borders that you see and all kinds of alignment that is given here, cell color, font color, all these are known as cell formats. Any change in appearance of your cell, so that is your cell format. So now we also have number format. Only your numbers are appearing in a particular way. But if you see in the formula bar, so their appearance is different. It only displays the exact value of it. Okay. These are known as number formats that are being applied. When you paste it either as values or as formulas, all these formats will vanish. They will be excluded. Only whatever is the content present in that cell, that will be pasted here. The original value will be pasted here. But in that case, now let's say I want to retain formulas also. So I'll go here, I'll copy this and I'll paste it in the next area. I'll use Control Alt V. I'll get to see this, choose formulas and press OK. See, now you can see here the formulas are as it is, they are not disturbed. But if you see in values area, there are no formulas present. It is vanished. It's not there. But over here in this side, you can see formulas are still retained. And don't assume when you say formulas, only formulas, cells with formulas are pasted. Nothing like that. Whatever you copied, the entire area is going to be pasted. Only cells which were having any formula, the formula is retained. Wherever there were no formulas in your source data, Whatever was printed there, same thing will be printed here also. Okay, so let me copy this again. See, this copy data, as long as the copy selection is there, you can keep on pasting it. See, this will vanish if you press escape or try to edit any cell. Okay, so as long as this copy selection is there, you can keep on pasting any number of times you want. Now, as I said, the shortcut is Control Alt V. You also have another shortcut, Alt ES. Alt ES. If you just give that, even there you will find this. See, you can choose here. So this time let me show you formats and click on OK. Now when you give formats, only the formats applied will be pasted here. So you can see the cell color, border, and if you give some data here, even the number formats will appear to you. So whenever you want to quickly apply format on a range of cells, you can copy and paste it as formats. Now let me paste as all using source theme. This doesn't make any change here. Let me choose this one. I'll explain these options to you later. All except borders. Say okay. Everything is pasted except borders. See, even here the format is maintained. The number format is maintained. But you can see here the column width is not enough for us to see this data. Most of the times we face this difficulty. We copy some data, while pasting it, we go and adjust those columns, manually. After pasting, we go and adjust it manually. You don't have to. After pasting the data, again keep the cursor at the same place, give Alt yes, you have column width over here. Choose this and say OK. You can see the width that was there on the source data. See, on this data, whatever width is there, the same width is given to these cells also. Just have to give the column width. But be cautious about something, guys. You will be able to make out a column width is pasted only when you paste the data. Okay, so without any data, if you just paste as column width, you will not see any difference because there is no data over there. Okay, so that is one thing. And we have another option, formulas and number formats. So let me give this and say okay. You saw when you pasted it as formulas, what happened? It will paste everything except the formats that were applied on it. So when I say formats, I also said you there are two types, cell formats and number formats. Now in this case, I have retained the number formats for me. Over here, I have kept this 1000 separator, 2 decimal values, even here 2 decimal values. I have retained the number format. I have excluded the cell format over here. So this happens many times when you usually copy paste some dates. So when you paste it in a different area, you will see that it changes to numbers. And again, you have to select the data and change it to dates. So these things will happen. So to avoid it, what you can do is paste it with formats. So I showed you formulas and number formats. So over here, you also can see formulas are maintained. See there as it is. We have not disturbed the formulas also. But what if I don't want the formulas, I only want values? I can give paste special. You have values and number formats. So you can see here we have values and also the number formats. No formula is present. Only values and number formats are given. You can check here. So these are the first set of options that we have in the paste special option. So are you all clear with these things? Do you have any doubt here?
No.
No. Okay. Fine. Let me take you to operations. See over here. So this is another example where pay special is really effective. I'll make a copy of this data and I want to paste it along with the width. So now I have a copy of this data over here. Now I want to calculate, let's say, 12% of forecast and 5% of actual. 5% of actual. I'll type that here. And see, to calculate this, you would give a big formula here. You say equal to this into 12%. This is how you calculate, isn't it? But let's say you want to again, after calculation, you want to change it to values. Again, you copy this and paste it as values. It's a big process. Now, you want to quickly calculate this, let's say. What you can do is type the percentage that you want to multiply with the data over here on top of this or any place you wish to. Okay, and give this. Now, after we have given these numbers, so you need to observe this carefully. It's a little tricky. Okay, I'll copy this percentage values. Now, I have to multiply these percentage values to these two columns. So, I'll first select them. After selecting, I'll use paste special option, and in the operation section over here, you need to choose multiply because I want to multiply it. If you want to add it, you can use add, you can use divide, subtract. So these options are also useful. So we are using multiply in this example. I'll choose that and say okay. So what happened? It has multiplied, it has also given the answer to us. Only thing is the number formats from where I copied, that is also taken. See, I don't want these number formats over here. Okay, let me undo this. Now, while pasting, I want, see, either you choose formulas or values, both will work, and then choose multiply. So now you can see the result is there. So 12% of this amount is given here. And there is no formulas over here. It's one time, guys. So if it is not a formula, you should understand if you go change any value over here later, it will not update in this place because there are no formulas in it. So you need to be careful how you use these things. Okay. So whenever you want to quickly calculate something, quickly get some answer, you can always go for this paste special method. So this was about the operations part. Now let me show you some interesting thing that's known as skip blanks. So even this particular option, it's a little tricky one. Just observe what I do. See, on the left hand side, we have some data. See, this entire column has got some data in it. I want to replace the old data that is present here with some new values. So those new values I have placed it on the right hand side. And I have some blank cells as well. See, that is only to indicate me that the values present on this table should not be removed. Only where I have provided the data, that should be given on this place. Else, wherever we have blanks, the same old numbers should be retained. So for that, if I copy this entire thing and paste it over there, let's say I copy this, you can see here, I paste it, you see what happens? Even the blanks get pasted here. I don't want the blanks to get pasted here. See, in that case, what should we do? Paste special, go to skip blanks. You select this and say OK. See, when you use the skip blanks, blanks in your source data will be removed and only the cells that has got data in it will be pasted wherever you want to. You can see here, wherever blanks are there, you don't get to see the borders. Okay, so this is an indication to that. You can see wherever blanks were there, you don't get to see the borders. So the skip blank option is very useful in this type. Let me show you another option of transposing your data. So now I want these two columns to appear in rows. I'll copy this. I'll use transpose over here. Say okay. So you can see now the data that we copied and pasted on the right hand side, it appears in rows. See, this transpose will paste the data in columns if it is in rows, and if the data that I copied is in columns, it will paste it as rows. That's the speciality of it, the transpose option. Are you all clear with it? Paste special?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let me take you to another chapter. Just give me a second. I'll share the screen to you. So, yes. So, formatting cells, rows, and columns. So, you need to learn few shortcuts here. So, this chapter is all about importance of applying formats to your data. So, now you have some data here. You can see it is very clumsy. It's not arranged. It's not formatted in a proper way. So, what you could do, you just have to select this. Okay, so most of the times our data will be like this without formats. We don't seem, I mean, we don't think it is important to us or it is time consuming, so we send the data just like that. But formats do have a lot of weightage, guys. So the appearance of your data, the more easily it is readable, the more easily it is accepted by everyone. But formatting, so applying formats to your data doesn't take a lot of time if you know a handful of shortcuts. Let me show you that. See, I'll tell you what shortcut I'm using as and when I do it, and I'll show you with the shortcuts with the screen here. Later, I'll share that file with you, the file of shortcuts that I have used. Okay. So now, first thing that I have to do with this data is adjust the columns. So the columns are not adjusted according to the width of the data present here. So to adjust it immediately, I'll use Alt O C A. This is a shortcut for column autofit. So this is a shortcut for column autofit. You can see here the data is adjusted according to the length of the data present in those columns. Now after this, I have to see that even the rows are, a little wide enough. So they are very close to each other because the row height is little smaller. So I'll select all those rows whose height has to be increased. I'll say Alt O R E. Now if I do this, so you can see the row height is 12 now. I'll increase it to 18. You can see the row height has been increased and there is a lot of breathing space for the data that is given here. The next thing, I also want to give some extra space to these columns. So currently, whatever is the lengthiest data present in this column, to that length of data, the column size is adjusted. Now I just want to increase a little more. So what I'll do, select this and I use this option Alt O C A. So this was to column out of it. Alt O C W. It will give me the column width over here. So which column's width you want to change? You just select that and give the custom width to it. Now I want to make it 22 and say okay. See, I want to give the same width to division, department, and manager also. So just go select those columns. I'll use redo option, Control Y. Control Y will repeat the previous action for me. Say Control Y. I'll select these two again. Say Control Y again. And I want to increase the width of this employee number column. So I'll go here, Alt O C W. So I want to give this as 10. And the same width I would like to give for region column as well. Just say Control Y. Now it seems to be a little okay. Now let me give some borders to this data. So to apply borders, you have to first select the data like this and use Control 1. Control and 1. You will get this. See over here, you can go choose border. You have to first choose the color of the border that you are providing. Now let me take this one. And I'll use these two line categories that we have. See, I'll tell you, these thick lines that you see are used for outline purpose only. So don't use it as inside borders. It looks very ugly, okay, and unprofessional. You have to choose these only when you have to provide outline. I'll go choose this. I want this as an outline now. You can see the preview here. And for inside borders, I'll choose one from the left hand side. I'll click on inside and you can see the preview here and click OK. Once this is done, I also want to highlight the headings of this column. I'll choose that and again say Control 1. You have fill option here. So you can choose the same color that you gave for your border and don't use too many colors, even that makes it very unprofessional. Just choose the max to max. You can choose, say, about two colors, not more than that. We don't want some rainbow colors to pop up here. So I'll choose the same color that we gave for the border to maintain the uniformity. But you can see the text is not that great. It's not looking that great. So if you are choosing some dark color for your border and the cell background, make sure the text is of light color. I'll go here in the fonts group. I'll choose font color and say white. I gave a contrast color to this. So this is not it. We haven't completed it yet. We have still more room to improve our data the way it is being visible to us. Always, you have to keep your column headers center aligned. So this is the standard ways of applying format is what I'm teaching you. Select the cells, go here, center align. This is horizontal alignment. So vertically also I want to keep it middle aligned so that it looks right at the middle of the cell. The next thing that I have to do is aligning the data that is present here in columns to us. So even here I want to keep the data aligned. You can see in the name column, the names are very close to the border that we have applied. I want a little space from the border and then the name has to appear. I don't need to type any space here. You just have to select it. You have an option known as indent, increase indent. I'll give this. You can see a little space is given from the border that we have applied here. I want to do the same with this department. See, I'll just use Control Y. Again, select these two columns. Just say Control Y again. Even there it is applied. Now, the type of format, the type of alignment that I gave is suitable for the data which has got variable length. You can see here in these columns, the length of the data is not same. In this case, this works really good. Okay, you can keep it left aligned, but to give a little space from the border, you can use increase indent. Now, what if you have some data of this kind, where the length of the data is uniform throughout the column? So we'll select it, we'll keep it center aligned. It looks good. And say Control Y here. So now you can see how exactly our data looks like. Okay. See, just few minutes ago, you saw the same data in a different fashion. Okay. Utterly out of way. Now, after applying formats, I just applied formats. I did not change anything else within the data. The same data I have kept in a different format. This makes so much difference to its look and feel. So now it is easily understandable. Whoever is looking at the data can easily understand what kind of data it is. Okay. So this is the importance of using formatting on your data. You have to strive to make sure that your data looks perfect like this. We also have another example. You can use it when you practice at home. So this extra exercise is for that. Okay, you can also use the first instance. I will share the material without solving anything for you. The material without any changes to this data. Okay. So any doubts over here?
Ma'am, sometimes when we enter more digits in a single cell,
Mm-hmm.
do something like E plus something formula it comes.
You just have to increase the width of the column, sir. It will adjust the number all by itself.
Uh,
I understood what you are saying. So if you give a very big number like this,
uh,
so it shows you like this, correct? So this is what you are saying.
yes.
So what you can do is adjust the column width all to see, or you can go here, keep your mic a little far away from your mouth. So you can go here, go to home, so you can adjust this. So you can give number, it will look better. Okay, is that clear to you now? See, if I keep it as general, that's how it looks. So I took number, it's looking perfect now. We can also see that there are no decimal places applied. So I have given two decimal places. You can remove it from this. See, this will show you the number that you typed in. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay.
So I just have another doubt.
Yes, sure. Tell me.
Yeah. In column number B, cell number 8, Bill Mac author. Okay.
Yes.
So you told that when I type it usually, so
Hmm.
it starts from the starting point of the cell, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you when you were just talking about you're given the alignments like space before Bill. So
Yes.
there was a network problem. I was not able to hear that. So could you please?
Okay, sure. I'll repeat it for you.
Yeah.
Is it Sumit?
No, it's Renuka Pratap.
Okay, Renuka. Okay, see, I'll type it here. Bill McArthur. So now you can see that it is very close to the beginning of the cell. I did not give any space. I increased the indent. You should not be typing space here because even that is also considered as a character. Okay. So now I want this particular data to start a little far away from the starting point. So what I'll do, select the cell. So we have an option here, increase indent. Select that. So you can see it moved a little far away from the starting point.
Is there any formula for that?
There's no formula. You just have to select all
Just
those
go for
cells.
intent. That's it.
Just that's it. That's it. Increase indent. It will increase the indent for you.
Okay.
Indent will actually set the starting position from where exactly your text has to be visible.
Agreed. All right. And we
Okay.
were just talking about there was another person who asked me the previous question, like
Yeah.
when you're
Number.
typing the numbers now.
Hmm.
So will you going to cover in this same topic, or will there any?
There is an entirely different chapter for the number
Okay,
formatting.
all right. I'll
Okay.
then I'll talk about this later.
Yeah. Sure. Any other doubts, guys?
That's it from my end.
Anyone else?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So let me share another chapter to you. Just hold on for a second. So can you see references here now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So let me click OK here. See, cell references play a very big role in your, Excel, especially using Excel and the formulas within it. So how do you refer to any cell, or why do we refer to it? First of all, see, if I have to add any two numbers or just perform any simple actions, so I'll give some numbers here. I'll increase the row height. Let's make it 12. Okay. So now I want to add these two numbers. You all would have used Excel, and I'm damn sure. So while adding it, so no one types this again 125 plus 999. No. So you will just go here, you will choose the cells, give this plus mark, or you will use a sum function. That's how we do. Correct? So that is sum. I can also use this function and just select this. So this is the way we use it. So when I selected those cells to appear in this formula, that is known as cell referencing. I refer to this cell. Now whenever I do so, you can see the address of the cell being mentioned here. Now the cell address that is appearing here is L6 and L7, and I have given the function, some function in L8. You can see it in the address bar also. Now, just observe this, what happens. I'll copy this and paste it in other cells. See, instead of seeing the result as 1124, I see that as 0. The reason behind this is, see, you look at the address of this cell, it is L6, L7. Fine. When we pasted it in other cells, just see it changed to N9, N10. And this one to Q9, Q10, and this one for P3 and P4. So what do you understand by this? Whenever we have the same formula to be copy pasted elsewhere in the same sheet or in the different sheet or in a different workbook, let's say, we should make sure the cell references are appropriate. Which cell is being referenced? See, your Excel doesn't understand this L6 and L7. It only looks at which cell you're giving the formula or function in and which are the cells that are selected. How far is it from this particular cell? Now, when I gave the function in L8 and we selected L6 and L7, which is right on top of it, the same instructions are pasted in whichever cell I gave this function. You can see here, it selects two cells right above it. For all the cells, you see the same. This is because the cell reference that we gave is relative in nature. Now, what do we mean by that? See, relative to L8, we chose L6 and L7. So the same relation is maintained in all the other cells as well. So I pasted the formula in N11. So it is trying to choose N9 and N10. That's what is happening here. And I pasted it in Q11. So you can see here it is Q9 and Q10. Let me enable this headings. You will be more clear about it. See, when you double click this, you can see it is Q9 and Q10 that is selected here. And over here, you have P3 and P4. I have pasted the formula in P5. So it is trying to get the values from P3 and P4. The reason why it is showing 0 now is because we don't have any values in the cells above. So if at all you give any value, it will just calculate it for you. Since we don't have any values given there, it will give you 0 as the answer. Understood. This is known as relative reference. There are three types of references in Excel. So in that, the most usual one that we use, most commonly used is relative reference, where we don't use any dollars. We just select the cells, we give the formula, it is done. Now comes the importance of the cell reference. See, if you are to calculate something in a single cell like this, you will not worry which cell reference you have used. Anyways, it will work for you. Only when you have, let's say, when you have to copy paste this to other cells, most of the times it happens. We don't tend to go and give formula in every cell that we have. We give it in a single cell, we try to copy paste it. So that is when this cell reference will come into picture. When you are copy pasting it, the cell reference does matter, especially when you are using formulas. Okay, so this was about relative reference. Now let me give absolute reference. So let's see the difference. What happens when you make a reference absolute? So to make it make the reference absolute, you just have to select the reference and press F4. Please press F4 and only use F4 for this. Don't type the dollars. It's not recommended because see, it's a simple formula. So fine, you're not being confused. So if you use formulas that are really huge, it has got huge number of parameters, then you will be in a tizzy. So you will forget where you gave dollars, whether it's the appropriate place or not, and you might also encounter some errors due to this. So it's always better to give dollars you by pressing F4. So if you give F4 here, you can see dollars placed in the cell reference that we have. So L6, L is column, 6 is row. So we have made the row as well as the column absolute for the entire cell reference. Now let me copy and paste this again in the same location where we gave previously. So now you can see the same answer is being displayed everywhere. See, the same answer is being displayed. The reason is I made a particular reference absolute. That means, so whichever cells are being referred in this particular function should not change. The reference to those cells will never change. It will be referred to the same cells only. You can see here, I'll double click on those cells. You can see the same two cells are selected. Now, when you make any cell reference absolute, reference from those cells will never change. It will always refer to the same cells over there. So these are the two extremities that we have. One is relative and the other is absolute reference. Relative reference keep changing based on the location where you give the function or formula or you give the reference. We also have another type that's known as mixed reference. So let me show you that one. So we have some data over here. Now let me use a relative reference and get the same data that we have over here on the right hand side. See, just to get a copy of it, I'll use equal to, I'll choose this and press enter. So let me remove the formatting from this so that Oh, it makes some difference. I'll say equal to. I'll choose this. You got to see the same value in this place as well. Now, let me copy it, paste it to below cells. I use this Control D. It will copy down. Now, you just observe the cell reference here. I selected B8 in the first cell. Let me show you this. See, second, it took B9, B10, B11, 12, 13. So it goes on like this because we have used relative reference. Relative to this cell, B8 was selected. Relative to this cell, it automatically takes B9. So that's the advantage of relative reference. But this is not what I want. I want you to understand when you copy paste a reference or a function or a formula, you see there is a change in number, row number over here. But the column is constant. It is referring to only B column currently. So when you copy paste a formula, function, or a reference from top to bottom or bottom to top, only the row reference will change. Rows are represented by numbers here. Now, if I copy paste it towards the right side, left to right or right to left, you see what changes. Can you see here? It is the column reference that is changing. So, over the first cell, we saw B8. Now it changed to C8, D8, and E8. So, when you copy paste from left to right or right to left, you see the column reference will change. When you copy paste from top to bottom or bottom to top, in this direction, the row reference will change. You have to remember this. So next thing that I want to do is, you can see here, I'll remove these things. See now, we have location, CDs, mugs and t-shirts. Those are the headings that we have on the left hand side. Now when I copy paste from top to bottom, I want the same cell value that is there in the topmost row. So what we have to do, I don't want the row number to change. It should be always 8th row to me. So what I'll do, I'll press F4. So go here, keep pressing F4. See now it gave $2. Again press F4. So dollar on row number, dollar on column number, no dollars. So you can keep pressing F4 to toggle between the positions of these dollars. You don't have to type them. Okay, just keep pressing F4. I want a dollar to be placed on the row number. I placed it, press enter. Now I want to copy paste it. Copy paste it towards the right side. Now let's see the difference. See, I placed a dollar on 8, so the same thing is maintained throughout. Wherever I have given this cell reference, wherever I have copy pasted it, you can see only the 8th row is referred. And when you copy paste it downwards, you don't see any change in the column as well. Only when you copy paste it towards the right hand side, you'll see the difference in column. Now let me copy paste this entire thing towards the right hand side. So now you can see 8 is common to all these cells over here. Since I placed dollar on 8, it is common to all the cells over here. Okay. So on whichever reference you place a dollar, be it row or column, it will be constant if you do so. Okay. So now let's see the result. See, this is how it looks. I gave the 8th row as constant by giving a dollar to it. This is the 8th row. The same value present in that 8th row is displayed here. Okay. Now I want to interchange the position of column, this dollar. I'll give dollar on B now. The column is made absolute, the row is relative. Let me copy paste this. See, I got the first column value, and the same is displayed on the other columns also. Let me show you the address of the cells. See, I placed a dollar on B. It doesn't change anywhere. You can see in this entire selection, B is common to all cells because I placed a dollar on B. But the row numbers are changing. You can observe that. So it is changing from 8 to 17 in all the columns that we have. Okay. So finally, I want to summarize. So we have relative reference, absolute reference, mixed reference. In that we have two types. One, the column is made absolute, row will be relative, or the row is made absolute, column will be relative. Okay. Is it clear to all of you guys? This is a very important chapter because yeah, this is really helpful when you have to use it in formulas. Yes, go on. Someone wants to ask a doubt. Just make sure you keep the mic a little far away from your mouth. Any doubts?
Ma'am Sumit here. Can
Yes,
you
yes.
show one more time this mixed one, ma'am?
Mixed reference, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
See, let me simplify it for you again. Just assume B8 is an address. I'll type it here. B8 is a cell address. Okay. In this, B is column. Okay. Column is B and row is column is B and row is 8. Now if you place a dollar on B, then column is absolute. If you place a column is dollar on 8, then row is absolute. So let me show you different addresses, reference types. So this is relative reference. So how does it relative reference look like? It's like this. Now I want to show you absolute reference. So here it looks like dollar $B and dollar $8. This is absolute reference where both references have got dollars on them. Now if it is a mixed reference, in that case, let me show you absolute column and relative row. See, in this case, column is absolute, that is B, and row is relative, just like this. There is no dollar on it. So next case, absolute row and relative column. So over here, B is as it is, but 8 will appear with dollar on it. Okay, so these are the
Ye-
address types that we have.
Yes, ma'am. Understood, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Do you have any doubts? I want you to be clear with this because we have lot of use with these references in the other formulas that we have. So if you're clear, we can move to the next exercise.
Yes,
Okay. So now, this chapter is all about how to apply the cell references that we learned till now. Let me say okay. So now we have examples of all three types being used here. So in this example that you are seeing, you can see here. Now I can give, so let's say 5% over here. So let's assume this is some discount that I want to apply on the total price of all the products that we have here. Now, if I have to calculate it, so what do we do? Say equal to select the total price of the product, multiply with 5%. I have selected these cells. I have referred to only cells. So we are not typing 5% over here. I'll show you even that. If you type 5%, what is the problem? So now currently it gives you some value and I copy pasted to few cells. Let's say. Suppose I want to change the percentage from 5% to 15. Immediately the formula will not change because you have typed a number here. See, when you give direct values within your formulas or function, it is known as hard coded values. And I have been stressing upon formulas and function. See, these two are really different. I'll make it clear to you what is a function and what is a formula. Currently, whatever we have used here is a formula, it's not a function. So, we used some few minutes ago, that is a function. See, functions are predefined. So, if I give sum here, it knows what has to be done with the input that I provide. So, see, I just have to give some numbers or refer to the cells that we have. It will give me the result over here. This is a function. Function will only ask you to provide input. It knows what has to be done. Whereas formula is not like that. Formula, you are going to specify what has to be done. So this is a formula and this is a function. You see that? Just give me a minute. Yeah. Sorry for the interruption, guys. Yes. So now you saw the difference. What is formula and what is function? Now currently, be it a formula or a function, we use cell references for this. Now instead of this 5%, if I give this cell over here and I copy paste it, the results don't seem to be proper. You see what is the problem here? Just double click on it. You will be able to see some cells are colored and they are indicated by that color. You can also see the cell reference in the same color. So D10 is this cell, C11 is this cell. Now, what is the address of this cell then? It is D7. I want D7 to be referred in this entire column where I'm giving the formula. It has to be referred. See, only in the first cell I get to see D7. If I select this, see, C8 changed to C9. That is fine. I want this reference to move to the next cell, but not this cell. It should always remain in D7. So I'll go here, I'll place dollar on D7. Press F4, you can see dollars are applied. After I change this, I'll copy paste this to other cells. Now you see some difference here. Double click on any random cell, you get to see in all these cells, D7 is referred. You can see that here. Okay, so once you're sure of it, you will copy paste this to other cells as well. You can randomly check any cell, it will be still referring to D7 only. So here we have used absolute reference. And the advantage of using cell reference, as I said, now if I want to change this percentage to 10, it automatically calculates for 10%. I don't have to change the formula now. So that's the advantage of using cell reference. And keep one thing in mind, like if you provide any formula or function within a cell and you want to copy paste it to other cells, it should be given in a single cell only, and your formula should work fine when it is copy pasted to other cells. You make sure your formulas are built in that way. Okay, so that is the reason we are using all these cell references, which will help us doing that. Now let me go to the next example. So we have relative reference example here. Let me zoom it a little. So now on the right hand side, we have a huge data. This is a sales data, and all these names that you see are salesperson names. They have done sales throughout the year, and we have the sales figures mentioned. And on top of this, I have the incentive percentages given. So I want to use this incentive percentage given in each month and calculate what amount of incentive was given to a particular salesperson. If I have to know this, see, you go here, it's again a simple multiplication. Just say equals, go select this cell, multiplied by the cell above. I just multiplied 8% with this value. I'll press enter. Now we got the result for the first item over here. I'll select few cells. I'll copy paste this. Now you can see there are errors cropping up. Just double click on it. You scroll a little bit. You will get to see the cells that we had to select is not in place. See, it is trying to multiply February with this value. It should actually multiply this 12% with it, isn't it? See, the reason why it is changing is because of the relative reference that we gave in the first cell. It works fine for the first cell. For the rest of the cells, you can see the selection is not the same. So selection from this 8% has changed. You can see here, see this red mark. This has to be this 8% which has changed to this cell. So how to make sure it has to be in the same line? We are going to take help of dollars here. Just go back. So Q6 is displaying in red. So that is the 8% value. So go here, you can see this is the 8% selection. So now, so go here, you choose this. You give F4. So if you give F4 and copy paste this, see what happens. You press F2. You can see in all the cells, the same Q6, that is 8% is only getting multiplied. See, we want this to be changed to 12%, 9%, and 5% automatically. We don't want the entire data to get multiplied with 8% here, which is wrong. So you go here, you give F4, sorry, you open this, you try pressing F4 again. So now I have changed this cell reference in such a way that the row is absolute, only the row is absolute. And then copy paste it to other cells. So now check it again. So the reason why I'm displaying it to you like this is I want you to practice in the same way unless and until you get the hang of it. Okay, it's really difficult to work on complex formulas like VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. So now you can see the cell reference has changed to 12%. So it is working fine. So what I'll do, I'll select the entire area. I'll copy paste this formula to this entire region. So now you can randomly choose any cell and check if it is working properly. Press F2. See, you go here, scroll this, So now you can observe here, it is properly taking this percentage and multiplying it with this number. So this is how you have to make sure your references are proper. In the early stages, see, you have to go through that trial and error, that the way I showed it to you. Just choose only a small subset of cells and copy paste your formula. Check if it is working fine in that area. Only after you make sure it is working fine, you copy paste it to other cells. Okay. So any doubts in this part? Absolute and relative. The mixed one is a little tricky, so I want to make sure you're okay with these two examples. Are you clear with it?
Yeah.
Okay. All of you?
Yes, ma'am. I need to practice.
Yeah, that is there. So currently it's only me blabbering from this side. Only if you practice on your side and come up with doubts, I'll be able to clear it to you.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay? Yes. So mute yourselves again. Right. So this last example, I'll take up this, and after this example, I'll stop the session. Okay. So now mixed reference. See how this is useful. See in this example, we want each column to get multiplied with each row. Say each column over here has to get multiplied with each row over here. So what does that mean? See, I want at multiple table format. See, I want to multiply one with this one and get the result. Now if I copy paste to other cells, let's see whether it's working fine. It's not. So what's the problem? When I double click here, you can see cell references have changed. See, this one should have remained at 2. This one should have remained on 3. The references are moving because it is relative in nature. Now let me go here. I'll make it absolute. I've made B8 absolute and also C7 absolute. Let me copy paste it again. It's all the answers are same because it's referring to those two cells only. Now what should happen in this case? In case of B8, the column should be same. The same B column has to be referred in all the cells. And in case of C7, the row 7 has to be referred in all the cells. Now I change the reference here. I'll go here, I'll change it to column absolute, and I'll change this one to row absolute. Once we do this, again I'll copy paste it. Now you look at the results. 4 into 5, it should be 20. It's correct. It's choosing the right cells over here. So you can randomly check any cell for that matter. It should be working fine. Now once we are sure of it, we'll again select the entire region. Just say Control D, it will copy down. Control R, it will copy right. There is no left and up. Okay, Control D and Control R, the shortcuts that we use to copy and paste the cells down and right hand side. For in order to copy, you should also see that the cell that you are going to copy is also selected. Okay. So any doubts in this example, guys?
No.
Okay.